What happens when a character formed in the actor takes control with such force that it's difficult to know when, if ever, it will leave the body?
So I did a short film in 2021 where I played the Heyoka, which is a trickster god in Native American cultures. And I really embodied it. I embodied it before I even had the role. And that's where some lines are blurred in my own reality, because I essentially wrote a story about a comedian who found the joke that could kill. Not metaphorically, as in like, oh wow, the audience really loved that, you killed tonight. No, I mean literally kill. And that's nothing new. I think a lot of comedians, a lot of joker types would like to find that. We don't want to actually kill anyone, but the idea of saying something so funny that somebody in the audience suffocates on their own laughter, that's quite something. So I wrote that, and then some producers got in touch with me and were like, oh, do you want to do a short film where you essentially tell a joke and someone reacts quite viscerally? And for a brief moment I thought that I had quote-unquote manifested. I know it's a naughty word, it's a very negative connotative kind of word, but at the same time, in my reality at the time, I would write things and then they would just happen, which is weird and scary, and I don't know what to do with that power. While I'm here actually, apologies for writing the pandemic into reality, because that's something that happened. I wrote a script about a pandemic in 2019, but that's a long story. No, 2018 actually. And then, like a year and a half later, a pandemic happened. So for a brief moment, I thought I did that, which does something to a person's mind. Really transforms you. So anyway, I wanted to show you some footage where the director talks about finding it intriguing to see me work. And what's challenging is that this character that I was playing...
The second day, we had Eric Lampaert with us playing the gag gift salesman and the Joker demon. We shot until around 5 o'clock in the morning and had to wrap Eric by no later than 4 a.m. since he had to be back in LA super early. I always do my best to shoot everything in order whenever I can, but on this project, I didn't really have that luxury. As soon as Eric was in makeup, we pretty much filmed all of his coverage as fast as we could, and then shot all of Zach's reactions afterwards. We actually used my shoulder for a split second. And I was Eric's stand-in. Watching Eric get into this character was a very memorable experience, to say the least. He pretty much walked on set entirely in character and didn't break for a second, even in between takes when the camera wasn't even rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it was me doing it, but at times it felt like it was something traveling through me, or even living with me, because it's not like I had prepared the role for the movie. I had been playing with that kind of role for about a year and a half, and then the movie came along and I was like, oh well, this is perfect timing. Like, if anything, the trickster god would do that kind of thing, wouldn't it? So on 2 occasions, this is what I want to share with you essentially. On 2 occasions, I did something which felt so alien that it wasn't me doing it, it was the character. One was, at one moment the director asked, for a cut, which is part of the director's job, and I sort of turned, and I was like, who are you to cut me, kind of thing. But it wasn't Eric saying that, it was the character. I don't want to call it the Heyoka, even though that is the name of that I played in the short film, because I don't actually know much about the Heyoka itself, the actual Heyoka. I essentially was playing a trickster god, so Heyoka, Loki, whatever, and it was quite demonic because, well, that's what was going on, not just in my life, but in the short film. So anyway, so there was that moment where I just turned and I was like, who are you to cut me? And it was quite interesting because, yeah, I was playing the Heyoka from pretty much the moment I arrived on set till I left. And normally in cinema or in TV or whatever, you become the character from the moment just before and action, and then you stop at and cut. But I was just this thing.
We have a ton of various takes of Eric just doing random things that weren't even planned. Even though we were pressed for time, this was such an important part of the story, we tried to give Eric the freedom to experiment. And experiment he did. Things got pretty weird.
The most fascinating part was the director needed repetition, needed a few different takes. And usually you, as an actor, give pretty much the same sort of performance. And then when you've got it in the bag, you can maybe surprise the director with some little bits. And if it's a comedy, you can actually generally do a little bit more improv between takes. But generally, you stick to the thing. But it wasn't a performance. It was like it was up to them to capture moments of the Heyoka. The Heyoka's not an actor. And this isn't me, the actor, going, the Heyoka is not an actor, and so therefore you cannot ask it to do another take. Even though there is a part of me that believes that. But at one moment, like, it was just so hard to do the same takes because it simply could not repeat another thing that had just happened. There was just things that were just flowing. And at one moment, I said, but it felt like something else. So, but it came out of my mouth. The Heyoka said, I feel like I'm being humiliated. But it wasn't me saying that, it was this other. And when I heard myself say that, and hearing it as if that was not me speaking, I asked for a brief moment to step outside, just have a little moment by myself. And honestly, the most amazing and wonderful and weirdest and craziest thing, like, I had a little cry because I, Eric, felt like I was manipulating this other being, as if I had captured something, as if I had trapped a being, and then I made it perform for me, for my pleasures of cinema. And I was like, come on, perform, do another take. And then all of a sudden it would just say, I feel like I'm being humiliated. Oh man, that was an amazing experience. But one that I don't know what to do with, because now it puts into question what being an actor is, what reality even is. I don't even know now if this being, this character is gone, or if it still lives in me and it's a part of me, or like, is there a way to separate myself from the roles that I play, or do they become part of me? Or do they become part of me and then when the project's done, I can sort of shed them like an old skin? And would I want to? So it's quite an interesting journey to experience characters so alive that they don't feel like me, but they feel participant in my body. It's cool. So that's what I wanted to share. All right, catch you later.